Ladies and gentlemen, when I was 18 years old, I had nothing. No money, no connections, no grand opportunities waiting at my doorstep. What I had was smaller than a coin, lighter than paper, and invisible to the eye. I had a word. One word spoken with belief can move mountains. One word spoken with conviction can turn the impossible into the inevitable. I remember walking home one evening, pockets empty but spirit alive. I said to myself, I am destined for greatness. I will not live in lack. I am rich in ideas, rich in courage, and wealth flows to me in perfect ways. At that moment, I didn't see wealth, I spoke wealth. I didn't hold money, I held faith. Every time doubt came knocking, I answered with words of power. When fear whispered, "You're not enough," I declared, "I am more than enough. I am guided, I am prepared, I am unstoppable." My friends laughed. They said, "Words cannot feed you, cannot clothe you, cannot build a business." But I tell you this, words plant seeds, and seeds grow into forests. Words build the unseen foundation for every fortune, every empire, every legacy. At 22, my first business deal came through not because I had money to invest, but because I spoke with certainty. I spoke with vision. People don't buy what you sell, they buy the conviction in your voice. By 26, I stood where I am today, a millionaire not because I had everything at the start, but because I dared to speak the word before I saw the result. You see, the world responds to the power of your declaration. When you say, "I can't," the world closes doors. When you say, "I will," the universe moves heaven and earth to bring it to pass. So I stand before you as living proof. Never underestimate the power of your word. It is the architect of your destiny. Speak life, speak wealth, speak courage, speak health, speak victory. Because in the end, you don't need everything to begin. You just need one thing, a word, and if spoken in faith, that one word can make you unstoppable. It can make you a millionaire. It can make you everything you are destined to be. Thank you. Would you like me to also add timestamps plus a SEO-friendly YouTube description, tags, and keywords like I did for your earlier speeches, so you can directly use this for uploading? A word is power. Many people underestimate the influence of the words they speak daily, but every word carries a vibration, a frequency, and a creative force that shapes the invisible and makes it visible. When you declare something with faith and conviction, you are not simply making noise. You are setting a cause into motion, a ripple that will eventually return to you as reality. Words are not empty sounds. They are containers of energy, holding within them the potential to build or destroy, to lift or to crush, to open doors or to close them forever. From the very beginning of time, everything began with a word. Great leaders throughout history have moved nations not with armies, but with words that carried fire. Every invention, every revolution, every dream realized first existed as a spoken word of possibility. When you are in the darkest moment of your life, when you feel like nothing is working and every door has shut, your words become your greatest weapon. If you say, "I am finished," you bury yourself deeper. But if in that moment you dare to say, "I will rise, I will overcome, I am stronger than this situation," your words become a ladder pulling you out of despair. This is why a word is never small. It is the spark that lights the fire. Imagine a single match in the middle of darkness. It may seem small, but it has the power to burn down forests or to warm a cold house. In the same way, a single word spoken with belief can ignite a future beyond anything you thought possible. Most people use words carelessly. They curse their own lives by saying things like, "I can't, I'm broke, I'll never make it." Without realizing it, they are commanding their own failure. Every time you speak, your subconscious is listening. Your mind is recording your words and shaping your actions to match them. That is why successful people guard their language. They refuse to say, "I can't," because they know those words would chain them. Instead, they declare, "I will find a way, I am capable, I am destined for success." These are not just positive statements. They are forces that shift opportunities, attract the right people, and shape events to align with the spoken declaration. The reason a word is power is because it bypasses logic and reaches the spirit. When you speak faith, you are not limited by what you currently see. You may not have money, resources, or even support, but if you have a word spoken with belief, you hold the seed of transformation. Like a seed buried in the ground, your word may look invisible for a time, but beneath the surface, it is alive, growing roots, and preparing to break through the soil into a harvest you cannot yet imagine. That is why you must never despise the day of small beginnings. Speak words of abundance even when you are surrounded by lack. Speak words of health when your body feels weak. Speak words of victory when you stand in defeat. Your word is your prophecy. What you say today becomes the reality of your tomorrow. If you truly understood the creative power of your tongue, you would never speak defeat again. Instead, you would treat every word as sacred, as a building block of your destiny. You are a creator, and your greatest tool is not money, not connections, not talent. It is your word. If you guard it, empower it with faith, and release it with conviction, it will move mountains, part seas, and carry you into the life you were born to live. Would you like me to expand this into a series of 700 word explanations for all 7 points? So you'll have a full keynote-style motivational guide ready. Faith speaks before it sees. This is the essence of all breakthroughs, the very foundation of success, and the secret that separates those who rise from those who remain stuck. To live by faith means to speak with certainty even when the evidence is invisible, to declare victory when all you see around you looks like defeat, and to trust that your words have already shaped an outcome before your eyes ever witness it. Most people wait until they see progress before they speak confidence. They wait for results before they speak belief. But the truth is, life doesn't work that way. If you wait to see before you speak, you will be trapped in a cycle of delay. Faith demands that you open your mouth with courage in the absence of proof. It asks you to say, I am successful, I am strong, I am wealthy, I am healed. Even when your bank account is empty, your strength is low, or your body feels broken. Faith is not denial. It does not ignore the challenges in front of you. Rather, it acknowledges the present but speaks from the future. When you declare something in faith, you are borrowing words from your tomorrow and pulling them into your today. You are aligning yourself with the reality you desire instead of the reality you see. This is why many people never reach their goals, because they speak only what is visible. If they are broke, they say, I am broke. If they are struggling, they say, I will never make it. They reinforce the chains holding them down by agreeing with their limitations, but faith does the opposite. Faith speaks freedom when chains are visible. Faith says, I am rich, even while counting the last coin. And that declaration, when repeated with conviction, attracts the opportunities, people, and resources that make it true. Think of every great achiever, every pioneer, every leader who dared to speak faith before seeing results. They all declared something that sounded foolish at the time. An inventor speaks of a machine no one has seen. An entrepreneur speaks of a business no one believes in. A dreamer speaks of a life no one can imagine. To the doubters, it sounds like arrogance. To the fearful, it sounds like fantasy. But to the one who speaks in faith, it is the seed of creation. Words spoken in faith open doors because they vibrate at a higher frequency than words spoken in fear. Faith-filled words draw possibilities. Fear-filled words block them. When you say, I will become a millionaire by 26, people may laugh. They may point to your lack of money, your lack of connections, your lack of education. But remember this, you do not speak according to what you lack. You speak according to what you believe. Faith never asks, how? It simply declares, it is so. The how reveals itself later, step by step, as your actions align with your spoken conviction. This is why speaking faith is not a weak practice of wishful thinking. It is the bold practice of aligning your life with destiny. When you practice speaking faith, you reprogram your subconscious mind. Your subconscious cannot tell the difference between what is real and what is declared with conviction. If you say repeatedly, "I am successful, I am unstoppable, I am wealthy," your mind begins to act as if it is true. Your decisions shift, your confidence grows, and your actions align with the reality you are declaring. Slowly, what once seemed impossible becomes natural, and your outer world catches up to your inner declaration. Faith speaking before it sees is like planting a seed in the soil. You don't see the tree yet, but you declare it is growing. You water it, protect it, and act as though it is already real. Others may walk past and laugh at the empty ground, but you know that beneath the surface, life is forming. And in time, the seed breaks through, becoming a tree visible to all. That is the power of faith. It demands speech before sight, confidence before confirmation, and words before manifestation. If you can master this principle, you can transform every area of your life. Speak your future today, and one day, your eyes will see what your words have been declaring all along. Do you want me to continue and prepare point 3 in 700 words with the same powerful flow? Your word is law. What you speak with conviction becomes the command your life must follow. Every statement you make is like a decree, and your subconscious mind, the universe, and even the people around you begin to align with it. Most people live unaware of this truth. They throw words carelessly, not realizing they are passing laws into their own lives. When someone says, "I can't do this," they are not making a casual remark. They are writing a law that binds their actions and decisions. When they say, "I always fail," they are passing judgment on their own future, sealing it with their words. But when a person understands the weight of this principle, they choose their words carefully because they know those words are not just sounds. They are instructions that reality obeys. Your mind works like a servant that never sleeps. Whatever law you declare, your mind seeks ways to fulfill. If you say, "I am unlucky," your mind will filter experiences to confirm that belief, and you will begin to notice every failure while ignoring every opportunity. But if you say, "I am favored, everything works in my favor," then your mind becomes an ally, guiding your attention toward opportunities and resources that match the law you declared. This is why your word is not casual, it is binding. You cannot command wealth one day and speak poverty the next. You cannot declare health in the morning and curse your body by night. To live with power, you must live with consistency. You must treat your words as sacred decrees that cannot be broken. The people who rise in life are those who speak with authority. They refuse to let their words be poisoned by doubt or fear. When they declare something, they hold to it as if it were already written in stone. This is the difference between a wish and a law. A wish says, "I hope it happens." A law says, "It must happen." Your words must carry that certainty, that finality, that weight of command. If you say, "I am building a business that will succeed," then you are laying down a law. Every thought, every action, and every decision will begin to align with that decree, as long as you do not break it with words of fear. When you think about history, every great vision was declared as a law before it became reality. Kings, prophets, leaders, and visionaries spoke with authority. They did not say, "Perhaps this will happen." They said, "This shall come to pass." Their words carried the force of inevitability. That is the essence of power, to speak not as if you are asking permission from life, but as if you are commanding life to deliver what belongs to you. Your word, when spoken with conviction, becomes that command. And once spoken, it begins to shape the unseen forces around you, people you have not met, opportunities you have not seen, and resources you did not know existed start moving toward you. because the law of your word has been passed. But here lies the danger. If your word is law, then every careless word is also a law. Every time you say, "I'm tired of this," or "I never get a break," you are writing laws that govern your experience. This is why discipline is essential. You must discipline your tongue the way a ruler disciplines his kingdom. You must not allow words of defeat to pass your lips, because once they are spoken, they set events into motion. Instead, you must train yourself to speak words of power even in the hardest moments. When everything seems against you, say, "I am still rising." When doors close, say, "Better doors are opening for me." When people doubt you, say, "Their doubt cannot touch me. I am destined for success." These words, spoken as law, override the temporary circumstances and shape the permanent outcome. To live with the principle that your word is law is to take complete responsibility for your reality. It means you stop blaming others, stop complaining, and stop speaking defeat. It means you begin to build your future with intentional language, word by word, decree by decree. Every morning, you rise and pass new laws. Today I succeed. Today I attract wealth. Today I am unstoppable. And as you repeat these declarations, you reinforce them until they become the governing principles of your life. In time, your outer reality cannot help but mirror your inner law. So remember, your words are not casual. They are commands. Speak with care, speak with faith, speak with authority. Let your words be laws that lead you to victory, abundance, and freedom, because when you truly believe that your word is law, you will no longer speak weakness, you will only speak destiny. Do you want me to move on and also write point 4 in 700 words with the same deep motivational energy? Imagination writes your future. Everything that will ever exist in your life begins first in the mind. Before there is a building, there is a blueprint. Before there is a song, there is a melody heard only in the heart. Before there is a fortune, there is a vision that no one else can see but the dreamer. Imagination is not fantasy. It is the creative workshop of destiny. What you allow yourself to picture in your inner world becomes the framework for what you will eventually live in your outer world. The tragedy is that many people stop using their imagination the moment they grow up. As children, they could dream freely, seeing castles, kingdoms, and limitless possibilities. As adults, they become bound by logic, by fear, by what they call reality. They only believe in what they can touch, and in doing so, they cut off the most powerful gift they were given, the ability to see beyond the present. When you dare to imagine boldly, you are rehearsing for the future. If you can picture yourself successful, confident, and free, you are writing a script that your life will follow. But if you fill your imagination with fear, with failure, with lack, then you are also scripting those very outcomes. The mind does not distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is real. It simply follows the instructions it is given. That is why visualization is so powerful. When you continually imagine the life you desire, your subconscious begins to act as though it already exists. Your decisions shift, your actions align, and you begin to attract the people and opportunities that match the vision you are carrying. Imagination is the soil where words take root. You can declare, "I am successful," but if in your mind you picture yourself failing, your words are weakened. To make your words powerful, they must be supported by a strong imagination. When you say, "I am wealthy," you must see yourself walking in abundance. When you say, "I am strong," you must imagine yourself standing tall and unshaken. This alignment between spoken word and imagined picture is what creates unstoppable momentum. Words are seeds, and imagination is the ground that gives them life. Great creators, inventors, and leaders were visionaries long before they were achievers. They saw the invisible before anyone else could see it. The Wright brothers imagined flying machines when the whole world insisted it was impossible. Edison imagined a world lit by electricity when people only knew darkness after sunset. Every breakthrough in history is proof that imagination writes the script of the future. Those who dare to imagine differently are those who change the world. Those who refuse to imagine are condemned to repeat the same cycles. Your imagination is either working for you or against you every single day. If you constantly picture yourself failing, struggling, or being rejected, then your imagination is writing a future of limitation. But if you discipline yourself to imagine abundance, love, freedom, and victory, then your imagination becomes your greatest ally. It does not matter what your present circumstances, our imagination lifts you out of the present and shows you what is possible. A person with imagination is never truly poor, because within their mind they carry the wealth of endless possibilities. The secret is to make imagination intentional. Most people allow random fears, worries, and memories of the past to control what they see in their minds. But you must take command of your imagination. Each day, close your eyes and picture the life you want. See yourself standing on stages. See yourself building businesses. See yourself living in freedom. Feel the emotions of that vision as though it were already real. The more vividly you can imagine it, the more quickly it begins to take form. Imagination is not daydreaming. It is rehearsal for destiny. Think of it this way: your life is a movie, and your imagination is the scriptwriter. If you do not write the script, life will write it for you, and it will usually repeat the same storyline you have always lived. But if you dare to write a new script with the pen of imagination, you can direct your future toward greatness. You can change the ending of your story. You can design a life beyond anything your past has suggested. Imagination is not bound by time or resources. It does not care about what you currently lack. It only paints the picture of what can be. That is why it is the most powerful tool you own. Every empire begins in the mind of the dreamer. Every fortune begins as a vision. Every transformation begins with someone daring to imagine differently. If you can master your imagination, you can master your future. So let your mind no longer be trapped by what is. Let it be consumed by what can be. Fill it with pictures of abundance, strength, and victory, and watch as your life begins to take the shape of your vision. Would you like me to continue building point 5 in 700 words in the same powerful style, so you'll eventually have a full-length speech series ready? Silence the voice of doubt. Every person carries within them two voices, one that pushes them forward and one that holds them back. The voice of doubt is subtle but powerful. It whispers in the background whenever you attempt to dream bigger, take risks, or step into something new. It tells you that you are not ready, not smart enough, not connected enough, not deserving enough. Left unchecked, this voice becomes the chain that keeps people tied to mediocrity. It convinces them to play small, to avoid risks, to stay within the limits of what feels safe. The truth is, doubt is not a reflection of your true potential. It is only the echo of fear. To silence doubt, you must learn to recognize it for what it is, a liar that feeds on your insecurities and starves your greatness. The voice of doubt often disguises itself as logic. It says, be realistic, when what it really means is, don't even try. It says, what if you fail, but never asks, what if you succeed? It presents itself as a protector, keeping you away from disappointment, but in reality it robs you of experience, growth, and destiny. People who listen to doubt rarely regret failing. They regret never trying. They regret silencing their dreams to listen to the lies of fear. To silence doubt, you must learn to separate your true inner voice from the noise of insecurity. Your true voice pushes you toward courage, growth, and expansion. The false voice tries to convince you to shrink. Silencing doubt does not mean doubt will never appear. It means that when it appears, you do not give it authority. Doubt may knock on your door, but you are not required to let it in. You are not required to make a bed for it and treat it like a guest. You can acknowledge its presence but refuse to follow its instructions. For example, when you stand on the edge of a new opportunity, doubt will say, "You will fail." Your response must be, "I may stumble, but I will learn and rise." When doubt says, "You are not enough," your response must be, "I am more than enough, and I grow stronger every day." The only way to silence doubt is to speak louder with words of faith, words of courage, and words of certainty. Great achievers are not those who never hear doubt. They are those who never obey it. They feel the same fear as everyone else, but they silence it with action. Each time you act in spite of doubt, you weaken its grip on your mind. Each time you speak courage when fear is loud, you reclaim control over your life. Over time, the voice of doubt becomes quieter, less convincing, and eventually powerless. But this only happens when you consistently choose not to give it the final word. The danger of doubt is that it multiplies if you entertain it. One thought of doubt becomes 10, and 10 become a storm that clouds your vision. That is why you must silence it quickly. Replace it immediately with affirmations of power. If you catch yourself thinking, "I can't," stop and say, "I can, I will, and I must." If you think, "I don't deserve success," replace it with, "I was born worthy of greatness." Every replacement is like cutting the roots of a weed before it takes over the garden. Silencing doubt also requires you to control the environment you place yourself in. Voices of doubt are not only inside you, they are around you. Negative people, toxic environments, and constant exposure to failure-minded attitudes will amplify the voice of doubt within. If you want to silence doubt, surround yourself with voices of faith. Read books that lift you, listen to messages that inspire you, spend time with people who believe in vision and courage. What you feed your mind becomes the loudest voice inside it. If you feed it doubt, it will echo fear. If you feed it faith, it will echo strength. Ultimately, silencing doubt is an act of discipline. It is choosing every day to ignore the whispers of limitation and amplify the declarations of power. It is refusing to live small when you are designed for greatness. Doubt may never fully disappear, but it can be silenced into irrelevance. You do not defeat doubt by waiting until you feel fearless. You defeat it by moving forward even when fear screams at you to stop. In the process, you discover that doubt is nothing more than a shadow, powerless unless you give it your attention. Once you learn this, you become unstoppable. You realize that the only voice that deserves your agreement is the one that calls you higher, the one that reminds you of your potential, the one that speaks life instead of death. Silence the voice of doubt, and you will hear the voice of destiny loud and clear. Do you want me to also craft point 6 in 700 words with the same motivational depth and flow? Affirmation overcomes limitation. Every limitation in life begins as a belief. When you tell yourself, "I cannot do this," you are not stating a fact, you are declaring a boundary that your mind will honor. Limitations are not permanent walls. They are fences built out of repeated words and reinforced by fear. What affirmation does is break those fences, one word at a time. An affirmation is a conscious decision to speak power where weakness has been spoken, to declare possibility where impossibility has taken root. By affirming strength, success, abundance, and freedom, you replace the old programming of failure and defeat with a new script for your life. Your subconscious mind accepts whatever it hears repeatedly, whether good or bad, and then shapes your behavior to match it. That means every time you affirm your greatness, you are retraining your inner world to expect more, believe more, and create more. Limitation is often inherited. Families, cultures, or societies tell you what is realistic, what is possible, and what people like you can or cannot achieve. Many people live their entire lives inside cages built by someone else's words. They repeat phrases like, "Money doesn't grow on trees," or "People like us never succeed," and without realizing it, they program themselves to accept lack. Affirmation is the key that unlocks those cages. When you declare daily, I am wealthy, opportunities flow to me, I am capable of achieving greatness, you begin dismantling the old beliefs that once held you. The more you affirm, the weaker the grip of limitation becomes. It is important to understand that affirmations are not empty slogans. They are not about pretending problems don't exist. They are about speaking truth that is higher than your current situation. If you are broke, saying, I am wealthy, is not a lie. It is a declaration of what is possible, a command for your subconscious to align with abundance instead of lack. If you are weak, saying, I am strong, is not denial. It is a seed that will grow into strength if nurtured with faith and action. Affirmations redirect your focus from what you see to what you believe, and in doing so, they open doors that once appeared locked. Every breakthrough in life begins with an affirmation. A student says, I can pass this exam, and studies with renewed energy. An entrepreneur says, my business will succeed, and suddenly sees opportunities where others only see risk. An athlete says, I am a champion, and pushes through pain to reach victory. Without affirmation, limitation reigns unchallenged. With affirmation, limitation crumbles under the weight of repeated conviction. The difference is not in the circumstances, it is in the words spoken over them. The practice of affirmation requires consistency. One declaration will not erase years of negative programming. Just as limitations are built by repetition, affirmations must also be repeated until they take root. Each time you say, I am worthy of success, you are carving a new pathway in your brain, making it easier to believe and act in alignment with that truth. Over time, the new affirmations replace the old limitations, and your life begins to reflect the new beliefs you carry. Affirmations also require emotion. Words spoken without feeling are like seeds thrown on hard ground. They bounce away without taking root. But when you affirm with passion, when you say, I am unstoppable, I am destined for greatness, I am overflowing with abundance, and you feel it in your chest, those words sink deep into your subconscious. They become living truths that influence the way you think, feel, and act. The combination of repetition and emotion turns simple words into forces of transformation. Limitation often reappears in moments of failure or delay. When things don't go as planned, the old voice of doubt says, see, you're not good enough. That is the exact moment when affirmation is most powerful. Instead of surrendering to the old belief, you must affirm even louder, this setback is temporary. I am still on the path to success. Nothing can stop me. Affirmations are not only for peaceful mornings, they are weapons for the storms of life. The more you use them in difficulty, the stronger they become. There is no limit to what affirmation can create because there is no limit to the power of belief. Once you learn to affirm without hesitation, you will notice your actions changing, your confidence growing, and your opportunities multiplying. People will see a difference in the way you carry yourself because you have broken the invisible chains of limitation. Where others see barriers, you will see possibilities. Where others surrender, you will rise. Affirmation is not wishful thinking, it is the deliberate rewriting of your story. Every word you affirm is a brushstroke on the canvas of your future. If you affirm strength, you paint a future of resilience. If you affirm abundance, you paint a future of prosperity. If you affirm love, you paint a future of connection. There is no limitation that cannot be overcome when you consistently affirm the opposite with faith. The walls of limitation may look strong, but they cannot withstand the daily hammer of spoken truth. Each affirmation is a strike, and with enough strikes, the walls collapse. Once they are gone, you are free to walk into the limitless life that was always waiting for you. Would you like me to now continue with point 7 in 700 words so you'll have the complete set of keynote explanations? Speak as if it's already yours. This is the final key that unlocks the door to manifestation, the principle that takes faith from being a hope to being a certainty. Most people speak about their goals as if they are far away. They say, "One day I will be successful," or "I hope I will have enough," or "Maybe I will achieve it if things go right." Those words keep the dream forever in the future, never allowed to touch the present. To speak as if it's already yours is to step into a higher level of belief, one where you claim the promise before you see the proof. It is saying, "I am successful, I am wealthy, I am powerful, I am healed," even when your current reality seems to contradict every word. This is not arrogance, it is alignment. It is aligning your words with the reality you are calling into existence. When you speak as if it's already yours, you collapse the distance between where you are and where you want to be. You stop chasing your dream as something separate from you and instead embody it as something that belongs to you. The subconscious mind responds to present tense declarations far more powerfully than future tense wishes. If you say, "I will be successful," the mind treats it as a possibility but not a certainty. If you say, "I am successful," the mind begins to reorganize your thoughts, decisions, and actions to match that reality. The difference between "I will" and "I am" is the difference between waiting for your destiny and walking in it. This principle has been proven across time. Athletes declare themselves champions before they ever win a trophy. Entrepreneurs speak of empires before they ever open their first office. Leaders speak of transformation before their followers ever believe in them. They do not wait for the evidence before they speak. They speak, and the evidence follows. To speak as if it's already yours is to act like an architect who builds from the blueprint, not from what currently exists. The blueprint is invisible, but it is real, and once it is spoken, the construction begins. The power of speaking as if it's already yours is that it reshapes the way you show up in life. When you declare, "I am a millionaire," even before the money is in your hands, you begin to think, act, and carry yourself differently. You no longer behave like someone waiting for wealth. You behave like someone already entrusted with it. That shift in energy attracts opportunities that match your declaration. People respond differently to you because you radiate a confidence and authority that comes only from owning your future in the present. Speaking in this way is not pretending, it is preparing. It is embodying the truth of your destiny before the world has caught up to it. There will always be those who mock this principle. They will say, "You're lying to yourself," or "You're delusional." But the real delusion is believing that you must wait for proof before you can believe. Everything you now see in the world, cars, skyscrapers, technology, even wealth, was once invisible, owned only in the words and imagination of someone bold enough to claim it before it appeared. The ones who laughed at them later stood in awe when the vision became reality. To speak as if it's already yours is to stand on the same ground of possibility. It is to claim your inheritance before it is delivered, knowing the delivery is inevitable. This practice also silences fear. When you say, "I am," fear loses its power to argue with you. Fear thrives on uncertainty. It says, "What if you don't succeed?" But when you declare, "I already have success," fear has no argument left. It cannot debate with certainty. That is why speaking in present tense is so powerful. It cuts off doubt before it can grow. Instead of negotiating with fear, you stand as though the battle is already won. To make this principle work, consistency is vital. You cannot speak power one day and defeat the next. Your words must stay aligned with the reality you are claiming, no matter what the present looks like. Even when you face setbacks, continue to speak as if it's already yours. If the money hasn't come yet, say, "I am wealthy." If the opportunity hasn't appeared, say, "I am surrounded by open doors." If success seems far away, say, "Success is mine now." The more unwavering your words, the faster reality bends to meet them. In truth, speaking as if it's already yours is a declaration of ownership. You are not begging for your destiny, you are claiming it. You are not hoping for your future, you are walking in it. This is how the greats live. They do not wait to be crowned before they carry themselves like kings and queens. They carry the crown in their words first, and the world eventually recognizes it. You too must live in that way. Speak health, speak abundance, speak victory, speak freedom, speak greatness. Speak it now as if it were already yours, because in the unseen realm it already is.